Today we're going to talk about the 5 reasons you can't even algebra. Now the first discrepancy is that there are letters with my numbers. Now if you look here, we have 3 plus 4 equals blank. Algebra takes out the blank and they're like, let's throw in an x, because that's a lot of fun, throwing in English with our arithmetic. Now we know 3 plus 4 is 7, so x would have to equal 7, we suppose. Now if you look at this monstrosity we have here, we have this equation 3x plus 4 equals 7. We subtract out the 4's, so we get 3x is equal to 3. Alright, I'm waiting for myself to draw that. Alright, now we're going to divide that 3 off of that x there, and that's going to give us 1's on each side, so x is going to be equal to 1, because that's just how it works. Yeah, that's right, erase that monstrosity. Math is disgusting. Alright, so if you remember, we just found x is equal to 1. I'm writing x is equal to 1. We're going to check the problem. So we're going to substitute the 1 in for the x there. So 3 times 1 plus 4 is equal to 7. We hope so. Is 3 plus 4 equal to 7? Of course it is! Math problem solved! And our number 2 reason, you just don't even PEMDAS. Yes, ma'am, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we're looking for the endmost parentheses right here, which would be the 3 minus 4, which I'm about to point to. Just any second now. There we go. The 3 minus 4, you're going to solve that right there, and it'll give us negative 1. So that'll give us 2 times negative 1 plus 4 over 2. And then I'm going to close all the parentheses, plus 8. See that 8 at the end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that 2 and that negative 1 together. And then we're going to divide out the 4 and the 2 because we can do that. Alright, so there I am explaining with my hands. So we're going to get negative 2 plus positive 2. And that's going to be 0 plus 8. So that's going to go to 0. I'm about to draw the go-to arrow. And then 0. So our answer is just going to end up being 8 right there for that one. And here comes a trial for us. Alright, so now we've come on to our harder problem. So it's 2 outside the brackets of 3 squared minus 2 squared squared plus 4 times 3 minus 2. So if you look at the 3 minus 2 inside the parentheses, that's our innermost parenthesis, and that's where we're going to start. So I'll give us 4 times negative 1. Close all the brackets. Yeah. Now we're gonna add plus 2 squared squared minus, and then plus 3 squared. Sorry about that. Alright. So now we're gonna multiply the 4 to the negative 1. And we're gonna rewrite everything out like I'm doing right now. And I'm about to do the multiplication right there. Yeah, negative 4. There we go. So, now we're going to focus on squaring squares. Whenever you square square, then it squares the square. Does that make sense? So we're going to get 2 to the 4, in other words. You square the exponent because it's being squared. So we get 3 squares 9 minus 2 to the 4th minus 4 because that parentheses just disappears. Then we're going to subtract all of those numbers because 2 to the 4 is 16. So 9 minus 16 minus 4, and that'll give us a negative 11. That will multiply by our 2, and that'll give us negative 22. And we can box that up and go. Our number 3 reason is you ain't got that fraction game going for you, son. So now it's insult time, the time where I insult your intelligence to show you how easy something is. Don't feel bad if you don't get it right off the bat, though. Alright, so there's a 3 plus a 3. What does that equal? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. Oh, wait. You know what? I'm thinking it's probably going to equal about 6, right? Yeah, of course it's going to be equal to about 6. Of course it will. So there's another way you can look at this, and I'm about to show you that. And it's going to be dealing with fractions. So if you think about it, like 3 over 1 plus 3 over 1, that's a fraction, and it's equal to 6 over 1. But you know what it is divided by 1? It's equal to 6. Because 6 over 1 is 6. Alright, so if you're looking at this problem, we have 4 times 2, and I'm not sure exactly what that's equal to. It's kind of hard. But you know, I'm thinking it's probably going to be equal to about 8, if I had to guess. Yeah, of course it is. So now we can bring down that 4, and we can write it as 4 over 1. We can also do the same with that 2. And guess what? It's just like we're doing that. We're doing math with fractions here, because that's a fraction. That's going to give us 8 over 1. And guess what? It's going to give us 8. Because when you divide by 1, it's not going to change up the problem at all. Pretty sweet. When working with fractions, the number 1 will be your best friend, as we'll see here. Alright, so we have this disgusting looking problem here. We have 3 over 5 plus 4 over 2. We're going to take that 2 and we're going to multiply the 3 over 5 by 2 over 2 because we need a common denominator, and that 2 over 2 is going to just turn out to be equal to 1. So we're not changing the problem by multiplying by 2 over 2. Likewise, we're going to multiply the 4 over 2 by 5 over 5, as I'm pointing to the 5 there. And what that's going to do is, if you'll look and see, the 2 times 5 and the 2 times 5 is happening on both sides. So that's going to give us 10 on the bottom. And like I said, 5 over 5 is equal to 1. So it's not changing the problem because we're multiplying each part of the equation up there by 1. So it's not changing anything. And I meant to say multiplying by 1 does not change the problem, but I put dividing by 1. It doesn't really make a difference with your 1, you know. It doesn't make a difference at all. That was weird. I think I said difference. So anyways, I'm going to erase that. Now we're going to bring down everything from the problem. We're going to bring it down to the next little spot there. 2 over 2 times 3 over 5. I'm going to close it up into a parentheses. Plus 4 over 2 times 5 over 5. Also close up into parentheses. That doesn't really change the problem. It just makes it look more fashionable. And that's equal to something. We don't know yet. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6. And 2 times 5 is going to be 10. Plus 4 times 5 is 20. And 2 times 5 is 10. So 6 over 10 plus 20 over 10 is 26 over 10, which is both divisible by 2. And that'll give us a 13 over 5. And I'm going to forget that I need to box up the problem. Here I go. Hey, and I box it up. Now today we're going to be talking about dividing with fractions. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can just feel it right now. So we have 3 over 2x is equal to 9 over 2. To solve for x, we have to flip 3 over 2, then multiply the 3 over 2 by 2 over 3, or it's flip, or it's reverse, or it's reciprocal, whatever way you want to look at it. I just call it flip to put it in layman's terms, basically. So we get 3 over 2 times, and you're going to flip that 3 and that 2 over, and that's not going to be equal to, but it's going to become 2 over 3. Yeah, boy. Now we can take that 2 over 3 there. We can multiply it by 3 over 2, and guess what that gives us? I'll cross everything out and give us 1. A 1 over 1, or a 1. That's a lot of 1s. But anyways, so now that we know how to do it, we can take that 3 over 2, and we can multiply it by its reciprocal, which is 2 over 3. And then we can do it on both sides because you gotta keep it real on both sides of the equation. So I'll cross everything out on the x, and we get the 2 over 2 cancel, and we're gonna multiply the 9 to the 1/3 that's left. That gives us 9 over 3, which gives us 3. Now we're on the 4th reason. What is a FOIL even? I mean, really, right? Alright, so now we have this lovely problem, which is x plus 4 times x minus 2. So we're going to start with f, which is first, so our x's are the first ones there. So we can do x times x, our outers. Depending on the way you look at it, it could be our x or negative 2. So those are going to be our outers there. And then our i's are our inners, so our 4 and our x, we'll multiply those two together. And then our lasts, so our 4 and our negative 2 are going to be our 2 lasts. So we'll go over there, and we'll multiply those two together. So I'll give us x squared minus 2x. Then we'll multiply that 4 and that x right there, plus 4x. They'll multiply that 4 and that negative 2 there, and they'll give us a negative 8. Now we can bring everything down, so we'll get x squared minus 2x plus 4x will give us plus 2x. And then we'll just keep that 8 there. And that should be our answer right there. We'll box it up all nice and pretty. So some people were taught a little bit differently, so I kind of sped this one up. It's just that the alger's in the last change, I believe. And you can see there that I'm going along with some of the way that some of y'all were taught, so that way it's not as confusing and you can see that. Now this is my own preferred method here. It's just that we have our first term, we need to multiply it by the next two numbers. So that'll give us x squared minus x. Then we erase that, and we have our second term, and that needs to be multiplied by those next two numbers. So we do 2x minus 2, and we can just clean that up real quick, and it's x squared plus x minus 2. And we can box it up all pretty like. Now I've come on to the fifth one. Do you even quadratic, bruh? And if you'll notice, I forgot to put the 5 on the board. So now what is quadratic? Well, we'll find out real quick. It's going to be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. And a, b, c are just going to be constants, just random numbers. We're also going to talk about factoring quadratic equations, which is just super fun. So here we have x squared plus 10x plus 25. So yeah, here's our quadratic equation. A equals 1, our b term is going to be 10, and our c will be 25. And we don't really have much use for that right now anymore, so we're just going to erase that. That was just to show you what the a, b, and c were. So now we need to come up with that 10, and it's going to come from the numbers in the 25, since there are no numbers in front of the x squared. So what is 25? 25 is 1 times 25, and it is also 5 times 5. But which of those two numbers are going to give you 10? I think it's the 5 and the 5. They'll give you 10, because they add and give you 10. So we're going to erase all that, and we're going to have x squared. Or actually, we're going to take it and put it in the form, so we're going to have x plus 5, and then we're going to have x plus 5. And those, whenever you multiply that across, will come up with the same answer on the top, if that's the answer we want. So that would be x plus 5 squared, but we don't really need that simplified, so we can just erase that. And now I'm just going to go across. We're going to see if we get the same thing that we have above, the same quadratic equation. So that's x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. And that should give us x squared plus 10, because 5 plus 5, 10x, plus 25. And that is exactly the same as it is up top. Math problem accomplished! Let's talk about the quadratic formula. Alright, so now we have x squared plus x minus 4. We're going to do the quadratic formula because there is nothing in that 4 that's going to give us that one term in the middle. So our a is equal to 1, our b is equal to 1, and our c is equal to negative 4. So I'm probably going to write it with just numbers, but I'm going to say the quadratic formula. So it's x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. It's all going to be over 2a. But I just filled in the numbers because I was lazy, and I should have probably given you the formula. So that would be x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of, that's going to be 1 plus 16, because negative 4 times negative 4 will give us positive 16, and it's all over 2. So x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 17 all over 2. And we can box that up because that would be our answer right there. Here's a bonus tip in addition to the 5. Don't drop your negative signs. They're super important. Why would you do that? Alright, so we have 3x minus 2x plus 4 times 3. So I'm a happy student on a test. I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, that's a 12 right there. So I'm going to bring everything else down, and guess what? You dropped the negative sign. So now we're going to have the wrong answer, which is 5x plus 12 is equal to 0. And our algebra, it looks good, but is it right? Of course it's not, because we dropped the negative sign. Come on, people. So now that'll give us x is equal to negative 12 over 5. Is that right? Professor's like, nope, no, it's not right. He erases the entire problem so he can show you what's wrong with you. So, and the real way to do this is you're coming along the test and you know you dropped the negative sign, so you put parentheses around your negative 2x. And then you add a plus sign so that way it's not multiplying. So you got 3x plus parenthesis negative 2x plus 12. And guess what? Even though it is extremely annoying to do it, you're not going to forget your negative sign because it's got a big old parenthesis around it. So that'll give us x plus 12 is equal to 0, and x would be equal to negative 12. Go ahead and check it if you want to, but that is the right answer, son. So yes, this has been the 5 reasons you can't even algebra. This was a longer video than I thought it was going to be. Thank you for watching if you've watched it all the way to the end. Yeah, so please subscribe and comment and everything. Leave me some feedback. And let me know if you'd like to see me do some higher maths, because that's where I'd like to take this channel. I'd like to be able to do like your Cal 1, your Cal 2, 3, differential equations, things like that, some linear algebra. I'd like to be able to go over that kind of stuff. And this wasn't supposed to be super detailed. It was just kind of like a thing that you could look at to hit up on your algebra skills with. So I hope that you're able to find out where you need to work on your algebra, basically. And I hope that this helped in some way, or at least provided some entertainment. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see y'all later in the next video.